In this video, you'll learn how to prepare shared folders for files and how to create a new cluster with a local database. Before you begin installing Qlik Sense, make sure that you have the system requirements in place. Check the documentation on the Qlik Help site to verify system requirements and limitations. First, you have to create a folder for all file content to be shared. You will need to share this folder with specific users. To set up a shared folder, right-click on the folder and select Share with Specific People. Select the user to whom you want to grant access to the shared folder. The file share should now be accessible from all machines. Before you install Qlik Sense, you will need to log into a server with administrator rights. The account cannot have a blank password, and make sure that user account control is disabled. Run the setup file you downloaded and follow the installation steps. Accept the license agreement. Accept the default hostname, and then select Install a local database. You can change the database port and the name of the database user that will be created in the local database. Then you must define a password. If you do not configure the database service listener during the installation, you can perform the configuration manually after the installation is complete. However, the deployment will not work until the database service listener is configured. In the Listen Address field, enter the addresses to which the database service should listen. In this case, we insert the value for all IP addresses. In the IP range field, add a subnet specification that covers the IP addresses of all nodes in your site. To allow all servers to access the repository database, use 0.0.0.0/0. Specify the maximum number of concurrent connections to the database. The default value for a single server is 100. Multiply this value by the number of nodes in the cluster. Then, select where to store data and resources that should be accessible from all nodes in the cluster in shared persistent storage. In this case, you can paste the path for the shared folder that you created. Subfolders for apps, archived logs, custom data, and static content will be created automatically. On the centralized logging screen, leave the Configure Centralized Logging checkbox selected if you want to set up centralized logging, or clear the checkbox if you want logs to be written to files. If you decide not to set up centralized logging at this time, you can set it up later by using the logging service utility. If you are installing Qlik Sense on a central node and you want to write logs to the database that is installed with Qlik Sense, click New Logging Database. Enter the log writer and log reader password and click Next. Define the Qlik Sense installation location or leave it to be installed at the predefined location. Define a password for the repository database superuser. Enter the username and password for the dedicated service account to run the Qlik Sense services. Select Install to launch the Qlik Sense installation. You have now successfully installed a Qlik Sense node with a local database and created a new cluster. And that concludes this video. Thanks for watching.